for that record button. Hi, I'm Reggie Ponder, the real critic, and I am joined by Sylvia Wong Lewis to talk to her about Auntyland. Hi, Sylvia. How are you?
Hi, good morning. Good to see you.
It's absolutely my pleasure. So, a friend of mine sent me a note saying, "Hey, Reg, do you know about this festival called Auntyland?" And I was like, "No, I don't know about this festival." And so, tell me, what is Auntyland?
Okay, well, Auntyland, it's a brand new digital festival that's devoted to and by and for women. And we're reaching out especially to mature women. And so that's where that auntie land comes from, because a lot of people say, oh, that's like your auntie's makeup, or that's your auntie's music, or whatever. And so I started out in Auntyland when I created Auntyland several years ago. I started it as a kind of a website where we talk about auntie stories. And then it kind of developed into more aunties, because there are a lot of aunties. There's Black aunties, there's West Indian aunties, there's African aunties, there's Caribbean aunties, there's Haitian aunties, then there's Chinese aunties, there's Indian aunties. Everybody has their auntie stories. And it just kind of evolved from that. And so basically they're women's stories, but it's not just women's stories. My husband's always asked me, oh, well, it's just about aunties. No. And I said, no, it's what we think about too. It's like, because in this festival, you'll see, so we don't just think about being aunties. In fact, I don't think I have one film about being an auntie in this film festival.
So people could get confused thinking that you're really talking about real aunts, but you're really not. You're really talking about a stage in life.
Yeah,
Yes?
yes, we're talking about a stage of life, but we're also talking about a stage of mind, and in a spiritual and a cosmic and a traditional and historical way, because we are, as I said, we're focusing on people of color and our allies, because I don't want to say, oh, we don't allow men. In fact, we have two men who directed films that are in Auntyland, and so that's great. And then, and I don't want to say it's only Black women, because there are Asian women and Latino women who also have films in this festival. So I hope that people are not confused that it's just about aunts. It's
No,
because
no, I don't think so. I just want to make sure that we clarified that. Here's my question, Sylvia. There are a lot of festivals. So, what made you feel that there was a need for another festival?
Well, I felt that there was a need for this festival, because this is the only one, believe it or not, that reaches out to women who are over 50 years old. And I became a filmmaker at 60, and I just celebrated my 70th birthday. Actually, thank you. Actually, the film festival came out just a few days ago, and it came out, like really the last day when when we were accepting films was on February 24th, or 25th was my birthday. So I was really excited that um, I didn't know. I think someone in the industry said, that you're the only film festival that has that really really focuses and targets on women over 50. And I am doing that, and I did it as an homage to so many of us over 50, and so many of us are very creative and are very talented and still producing, still writing. And what's up with that? People don't think that by the time you're 50, by the time you're my age, you have a lot to offer. And some people will say that people who are over 50 have the best stories, men or
Wow.
women, you know? So when you sit down and talk to somebody that's lived 50 years, you're talking to somebody that has a lot of stories.
Wow. Well, I really love this because I do think that women, particularly in many industries, even in my industry, from a film critic perspective, at the age issue, there is this thing about age that makes people say, well, okay, we let's move on to the new person and see what they have to say. I love the fact that that you point out that when you live life, you got a little bit of story behind there to bring to the forefront. Let's talk about where people can. I want to first talk about where people can find the festival, and then secondly, talk about you have three particular blocks in the festival, and I'd like to talk a little bit about that. But let's talk about the first thing that I think a lot of people are going to like is that they can get it for free. Correct?
Yes, this is a free festival, and it's we devoted it to we opened on International Women's Day, which was March 8th, and it runs through Women's History Month. So this is definitely a project or a whole movement just for Women's History Month. But it's been received so well that people want to know if I'm going to do more, if we're going to do more through the year. So I'm already, actually, believe it or not, moving toward looking at some year-round programming. So yes, you can just go right to, it's on Film Freeway / Auntyland Fest / tickets. And then all you do is click on there. When you click on there, you'll get a kind of a message and a password. And all of the films are running right now on Vimeo.
So you can see all of the films. And how many films do you have, Sylvia?
We have 19 films. And that's the other thing, 19 films. And each film is in the films are divided into 3 blocks. And I was thinking that I've been to a lot of film festivals, and you probably have too. In fact, my husband, Byron Lewis, started the Black Film Festival that's been going along for I think they're
so I did not know that he was your husband because I worked for I worked for him at
Did
Uniworld.
you really?
I did work for him at Uniworld for a year. I worked for him for a year, and I worked with Jeff Friday a lot, in fact.
Oh my God!
So,
yes, I was going to say Jeff. Jeff Friday brought the film festival from Byron, and Byron, he actually worked for Byron.
That's
first.
right, absolutely. And I worked for Byron during the same time that Jeff was there, and
that's amazing.
And so I've covered the festival many times. So I don't believe that Byron would remember
me.
Can
you believe that? I know. So while I was sitting at doing this film festival, we were talking about how when he came up with his film festival, which was he's the granddaddy of all Black film festivals, and mine, and he was saying that he was not focused on because I was looking at the story and the filmmaker and the length of the film and things like that. And he was, and it's a digital, so it's like you're at home watching. And he was saying that his method, method of madness is that he wanted to bring all of us people, Black folks, together. And and I'm doing it in a digital way. He was doing it in a physical way. And he wanted to bring the talent and the opportunity and all of those things together. So that part I'm interested in too, bringing the talent and the opportunity in a way together in a digital way. But what a small world, because I just said to him, oh, I just talked to someone and they said that they worked for you. And he celebrated his 90th birthday.
Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah, so he's like, he said, well, a lot of people work for me.
That's right. He wouldn't remember me at all. But to get back, so I can.
Right, he remembers a lot of people. He said, oh yeah, I interviewed, and they didn't have a tie on or something like that. He remembers stuff.
That is so great. So I want to do this little quick focus piece here. Is that tell me when the festival can be seen. Tell me what kind of artists you have in the festival, and then tell me about the 3 blocks. If you could tell me about those in a little short period, that would be fantastic.
Okay, the film festival is running right now. It started on March 8th and it runs through March 31st for Women's History Month, the whole month of March. It's free and it's digital. All you have to do is Google Auntyland Film Festival and everything will pop up for you, and just click on tickets. Click tickets, they'll send you a password for Vimeo. You can watch it on Vimeo. And you use the same password for the 3 blocks. And I'll tell you, the 3 blocks, we came up with the 3 blocks because we wanted to put the films in 3 blocks so that you can watch them in a kind of accessible way. And the blocks only last about 1.5 hours. So, and you get maybe 6 films and then another 6 films like that. And you can pick and choose how you want to do it. And so the first block is arts, society, and experimental. So everyone that's in that block is in that category. And then the next block is, I almost forgot what it was. The next one is romance, culture, and comedy. And the comedy one is kind of comedy and horror. It's like a combination. Because this sister, wait till you see her film. This sister is wow. But, and then the next one is called Global Environment and Activism. And so I would say this, the film festival is very intersectional. And that's a new word that a lot of young people use. And it's when you have categories that can interact with each other. My film festival is at the intersection of identity, gender, and age. And so I like to bring people together because I'm that kind of auntie. People call me Aunt Cookie. That's my name, you know, so they know that I like old people and young people. So, and you know, my husband's 90 years old and I'm 70, and I have friends, and you know, I know you could be an aunt at 8 years old. So, you know, there you go. So I like to bring all the generations together. So I was, go ahead.
Well, firstly, I'm so glad that you explained that in a short period in that little nice little capsule there. And if you would, I looked at the films, and if you could just talk about maybe 1 or 2 of the films in each category, because when you talk about the intersectionality, I could see that in the list of films. When you talk about the different perspectives of people, of women of color, I could see that as well. You talked about Haitian and so on and so forth. So if you could just give us a little bit on that, that would be fantastic.
Okay, well, I would say this. I opened a film festival with Alma Thomas, and she's a Black woman artist who had been she had been an art teacher for 40 years. And then when she retired, she restarted her art career. So at 60, she went full blast into that. And then, so anyway, there's a first documentary about her, and we should know about her. And then I closed the film festival with a piece out of Cuba. It's called Volunteer Teachers. It's about bringing literacy to the mountainsides in the deep rural areas of Cuba back during the revolutionary times. And the people who did that were the old aunties. They're old now, but back then they were young. So it's a reflection with the aunties talking about how it was trying to do that. And that will make you think about the civil rights era when we were trying to go to school and trying to get access to education back when, you know, things were different here in America. So that's like the beginning and the end. But in between there, I would say that in the first block, we got a lot of responses with the experimental films there. They're all short. That's the other thing. This is a short film festival, meaning all of the films are 20 minutes and less. And in the experimental section, some of them are like 3 minutes, 4 minutes. So you can really go through them and see it. There's one in particular called Exhausted. It's by an Asian young woman, and she's responding to how exhausted she is about how Asian people are being attacked, especially Asian women. And that piece will make you, it will touch everybody because we're all exhausted, especially Black people. So that really touched me. And I'm a Black woman, so I really love that. The next block is, what did I say? Oh, romance, culture, and comedy.
And I love this. I love romance. So when I watch, this is going to be the first place I go, to the romance part. So go ahead.
Yeah. So there's romance. So, and I almost wanted to say, I was going to use the word relationships, but really it's really romance. and it is relationships too. But so it's relationships. There's one about it's a couple, they're getting ready to break up, but then it ends up that the film is about how they got married, and they're having a good night story with their daughter. Beautiful story. And then there's another story in there that it's animation, a Caribbean animation it's a love triangle.
I saw
So,
that.
did you see that?
Yeah.
Yeah, you will love that. And because how many people do we know that's in a love triangle that we know about? How many love triangles do we know about where the brother is a star, right? And then there's something else going on. So that's that. And in the one that I call comedy, as I said, it's really comedy and horror at the same time. And it's by Beverly Bonner, directed by that, and that was her directorial debut. And so and sadly, as you know, she passed away. And so we had someone who was kind enough to come on and talk about her during the chat. So if you get a chance to look at the chat. So we had the chat done on live stream, on StreamYard rather, so that you can see the chats with the directors and also with the person who's friends with Beverly Bonner, since she couldn't be there in person. And then the last category is what did I say?
Well, you talked about that one because that was the comedy one, and you so you gave me a little bit about the first one, and then talked a little bit about experimental. The second one, you talked a little bit about love, and then the third one, you talked about this comedy kind of horror.
Yeah. The next one is about global, environmental, and activism. So I think that, and the global one is a touch on immigration and how people are trying to immigrate here and different ways they do that. And the other one is called The Healing Game, and that's environmental. It's about the children who survived Storm Sandy here in New York City, and also about the children who survived the earthquake and the tsunami in Japan. And they got together in Brooklyn and played baseball. And they talked about, that's how they healed, actually, the children who survived these natural disasters. So that's a really sweet story.
Wonderful.
And so, there you go.
Wow. Well, Sylvia, firstly, it's great to meet you, Auntie. And thank you for bringing this to our attention. We'll make sure that people know about it. It started on International Women's Day, which was March the 8th. It goes all the way through the 31st of this month. People can see this for free. It is a free festival. It is a short film festival, so you can watch many films and get a real good taste of an eclectic view of life. And it's focused on older women, and from a developmental and creation perspective. So I
certainly included. I'll say this because half of the filmmakers are young, and then half of them are older. So we do have a few filmmakers that one is 75 and one is 80. And when you see their films, you'll think that the young people did it because they're so crazy. Okay.
Wow.
I want the age of them, but I'll tell you that you'll say, "Oh, that must have been a crazy young person that did that." So
I want to thank you again for joining us, and we will be sure to spread the word. Thank you again.
Okay, thank you so much. I enjoyed talking with you, meeting you, and I love your show.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.